Okay, Friday, October 9th, and we've seen two big debates. Oh my gosh, what a contrast, how crazy. Oh, and now the third one, they're saying supposed to be virtual because of Trump's diagnosis. And Trump, of course, says, I won't do it virtual. How else could I not wear my mask in public? So, this is going to be the craziest election ever. It is very likely, as we all know, to be contested. I'll just tell you really quickly what I see from the markets, because that's more the objective view to me. The markets are in kind of a sideways pattern since the bubble-like top on September 2nd. Short-term cycles suggest sideways to down. Markets have actually held up a bit better than I would have projected in this. And they look like they want to go up in the election. They're holding at levels that look like they want to rally in the election. Well, how do they do that when right now, Trump, who you still got, I get all this, no, people will like Biden because he's moderate and all this sort of stuff. No, you can't like raising taxes. The markets can't like higher taxes at the corporate level and at the marginal level for more affluent people, because most affluent people own stocks, not everyday people. So what does this mean? Well, number one, you got to remember the last election. And I was not 100% that Trump was going to win, but I was warning very strongly that Trump had a lot better chance than the polls showed, because I learned from my father, who was a political consultant at the presidential level back in the late 60s and 70s and on, that it's the all-star wrestling fans. It's the swing vote that matters, not the average voters and all these percentages and stuff. And Trump was clearly appealing to the all-star wrestling fans. Well, now it looks worse. I hate to say it, if you like Trump, you can't like the fact that he can never admit that he's wrong, and he does something that I think is so offensive. I call it doubling down on stupid. You say something that ends up appearing wrong or is not received well, and then you just double down on it stronger. Okay, he thinks that works for him, fine. Doesn't work for me. It's not working for the American public right now. His ratings are going down. He clearly lost that first debate and interrupted beyond any imagination, and still thinks he did a good job. Again, it doesn't matter whether you're for Trump or against him. You can't say he did a good job there. And it was not received well, and his ratings went down. And then Pence comes on, much more gentlemanly and direct, didn't answer any questions. No, evaded almost all questions. Even Kamala did that too, but not as much. And he kept going over his time almost every time. That's just bad manners. What's wrong with these people? How hard is it to follow a few simple rules and not be so selfish? So right now, the polls keep going for Biden. Kamala was rated as winning that debate by like 58 to 38 or 59 to 38, something like that. And that's pretty much how I would have rated it. She didn't do great. He didn't do great. Biden didn't do great. Trump just did horrible by being so overbearing and so bullying. So the polls keep going against Trump. It doesn't look good, but the markets look like, to me, they want to rally into the election. So we'll keep you updated on that. The markets rally, it could be an acceptance of Biden, but you got to remember, Biden's back on the road, Trump's not. What I'm hearing about Biden, doing the same old thing. He's stumbling on words and not looking totally competent. So he's not the best person to run against Trump. He is not a strong candidate at this time. Trump keeps doubling down on stupid, which is just stupid. But I would not count him out yet. I would not. And I think we're just going to have to get close to the election and see what it looks like last time. And I am expecting the markets, since they're holding up here, to rally an election. They may just try to make a new high and fail. That's fine with me. That would be the best scenario for showing weakness and a bigger crash to come out. Or they may make a slight new high. Adam O'Dell was seeing some signs of maybe a really strong multi-month rally. Well, that buy signal or signal has not come through after this correction. So I'd say that's the most likely scenario. Some sort of rally into the election, may go a little lower, may not. We're right. I did a recent update for subscribers that showed a reverse head and shoulders pattern in this correction on the downside. And we're right at that kind of point where the market could break up and then rally. And that would project a slight new high, about 1 or 2% higher than the September 2nd high for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P. So we will see, but I'm telling you, this is looking very, very much like, to me, and similar to the long-term chart of the S&P I put out for all paid and unpaid subscribers the other day. This is really now a convergence of all types of trend lines on the top end, looking like we're at or very close to a top. And again, remember this about bubbles bursting, and we already saw it in February, March, when most markets topped. And you have to remember, almost all stock markets outside of the NASDAQ, the techs, and the S&P 500, which is heavily FANG tech related compared to the Dow and the Russell 2000, all global markets almost have not made new highs. But since the techs are making new highs, the next crash will be this waterfall, continued waterfall. We saw 35% down February, March in 5 weeks. We saw 40% as I projected in most global markets. We'll see that or more again. So you got to really start thinking how to protect your assets and prepare, because the next crash could come right after the election or even start before, and it could be very sharp again. And if it doesn't come then, it will be by early next year. Zombie companies are going to end this rally. That's my projection. But we will keep you updated. This will be a crazy election. It will be hard to call, even though it looks easy. Most pollsters say there's just no way Trump can win at this point. I do not believe that. And we'll have to see how the markets react, because the markets are not, I would think the markets would be being more bearish, seeing a more certain Biden win, and they're not. So we will see, and I'll keep you updated. And by the way, I wanted to shout out thanks to James Rydeski and his company Jamry. He's one of our subscribers, and he's responsible for the intro to these rants. He has an animation company for people who are interested.